A $13 billion American aircraft carrier called the USS Gerald R. Ford is now armed with huge lasers. The U.S. supership holds the world record in many respects. It's the world's largest, most expensive, and most powerful carrier. With a displacement of 100,000 tons, it has more power than the entire Air Force of at least 50 countries.
Today, it is my great pleasure to announce that the Department of the Navy's newest aircraft carrier, CVN-78, the first in a new class of CVN-21 carriers, will be named USS Gerald R. Ford.
Just look at how huge it is. It makes an ordinary ship look like a toy. This majestic giant can operate for 25 years without refueling. Its weapons can wipe out any country in 60 seconds, but its onboard fleet of 90 fighter jets can do it even faster.
And the foundation that we're building here today at Gerald R. Ford will last for the next 50 plus years. It will last throughout our lives. If we get this right, Gerald R. Ford will go on to be not just the most technologically advanced warship in the Navy, but the greatest warship in the Navy.
And of course, don't forget that the USS Ford comes with an armada of more than a dozen cruisers, destroyers, frigates, and even submarines. The only thing is, China can destroy all this power with a single strike. This is a problem that the Pentagon can't ignore, because the Chinese government isn't even hiding the fact that they're prepared to start hunting their enemy ships. Their hypersonic missiles are designed specifically to destroy the American fleet. They even have a full-size model of an American aircraft carrier hidden in the Taklamakan Desert. That's where engineers are testing ships' ability to repel a missile attack, and apparently they've managed to create a weapon that can bypass any defense. The DF-17 and the Xingkang-2 are China's two main hypersonic missiles. Extensive testing of the former has demonstrated a 100% success rate and demonstrated a high degree of danger to American ships. Even the most advanced air defense systems won't be able to handle the DF-17 because the missile flies at a speed of Mach 5. That's over 3,700 miles per hour. This 1-ton, 30-foot warhead falls down on the enemy from an altitude of 197,000 feet. Such an attack would leave even the USS Ford sleeping with the fishes. But that's not all. The Xingkang-2 hypersonic missile has an even faster top speed of 4,500 miles per hour and a maximum range of 6,200 miles. It could literally destroy a target on the other side of the continent. Of course, the U.S. is aware of this, but they've not wavered in their resolve because they've created a new defense system capable of destroying any Chinese hypersonic missile with one blow. Powerful military lasers, that's the ticket. No wonder hundreds of millions of dollars are being poured into this field of research every month. It's all to make sure that America's laser weapons can best anyone in a conflict. The first of these lasers was ready back in 2014. It was a 33-kilowatt SCQ-3 that had been successfully tested on the deck of the USS Ponce. And the results were so encouraging that further research led to the creation of even more powerful lasers. One of them was a high-energy beam with a built-in optical dazzler and a surveillance system known as Helios. The system cost $105 million and is a 60-kilowatt laser weapon developed by Lockheed Martin. It was the first laser weapon to be mounted on a destroyer and was able to work with a ship's radar for automatic control. The Helios can blind enemy vehicles and in some cases even cause an internal explosion within the target. However, despite its strength, the Helios wouldn't be able to handle hypersonic missiles. Even then, it was determined that the next laser intended for ships should have at least 300 kilowatts of power. But the Chinese have recently invented a covering that can protect against lasers, so not even that amount of power is enough. However, there is something that could put China in its place. It's called the Tactical Ultra-Short Pulsed Laser, and the name speaks for itself. This technology was discovered by military engineers back in the 1970s. But now the U.S. Air Force has successfully transformed this discovery into a revolutionary and highly versatile weapon system that can be integrated into a wide range of military platforms, including on aircraft carriers. The Tactical Ultra-Short Pulse Laser is unbelievably powerful. It can create a beam so intense that, at its peak, can reach values of up to 1 million times more powerful than the sun. This is the weapon that's been installed on the USS Ford, which uses its nuclear power source to operate it. It'll be very difficult for the enemy to even see the installation, let alone destroy it. If the ship's crew doesn't want to raise the laser from its armored compartment in the middle of the carrier to the main deck, nothing can hit it. But the laser gun itself can easily wipe any adversary off the face of the Earth. Of course, the laser then has to be properly cooled and serviced in a special chamber.
We've been able to reduce the manpower in this ship, the crew size, by about 600 people.
The tactical ultra-short pulse laser uses a high-energy beam of light to deliver precise, powerful strikes to its target. The pulses generated by the machine are so fast and intense that they can cut through steel and other materials with ease, and each strike creates a small explosion on the surface. The shock wave then vaporizes a small amount of material from the surface, creating a clean, precise cut. But it has another interesting feature. The intense power of the rays destroys the molecules in the atmosphere and ionizes the atoms of nitrogen and oxygen. This creates a kind of plasma channel that keeps the beam focused over a long distance, but the laser also turns a small part of the target's surface into plasma. If the installation is set up incorrectly, then the new plasma can't dissipate in time, thereby blocking any subsequent pulses. This can also be used for good by creating a plasma shield like the ones we see in the movies. But so far, this technology is still in the testing phase. Nevertheless, such a laser weapon would be a real ace in the hole for U.S. aircraft carriers like the USS Ford. At the same time, similar lasers from Lockheed Martin with a power of up to 150 kilowatts are going to be installed on other vessels like USS Ross destroyers. Even F-35 Lightning II fighters will soon be fitted with laser weapons, the same ones that are on board the most powerful aircraft carrier in the world. With protection like this, the USS Ford has nothing to fear and will definitely be able to bring down any incoming hypersonic missiles.
This ship is so different from any other ship that I've ever been on, and that holds true for all of our sailors. You know, no matter how many aircraft carriers you've been on before, you've never been on a Ford-class aircraft carrier.
China has positioned itself as a consistent rival of the U.S., and they're doing so by testing lasers, railguns, and other types of electromagnetic weaponry, including the latest innovative technologies. You're probably already aware that China has created the world's first unmanned aircraft carrier that can control a whole swarm of combat drones, but America is keeping pace. Why limit yourself to standard technology when you can take it one step further and endow your aircraft carrier with artificial intelligence that can control a massive amount of onboard drones? Among them are flying kamikazes, reconnaissance units, bombers, and even submarines with nuclear weapons. But the most fascinating part is that rail weapons are already being tested for the latest generation of the USS Gerald Ford. It's a gun capable of piercing through 24 concrete walls with a single shot, turning enemy equipment into a pile of scrap metal in an instant and disintegrating any target at a distance of over 300 miles. Let China continue to think that it can compete with the United States, but the flagship aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, which features the most powerful lasers in the world, will be America's trump card if things ever come to blows. That concludes today's video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you all have a great day. See you soon.